With these can-do videos, you'll see real-life situations where you have to introduce yourself, talk about your family, or give your contact information. So, by the end, you can do them yourself in Italian. This video is a small portion of our can-do course. To get the full course, including translations, grammar tools, and assessment tests, click the link in the description.
Welcome to Can Do Italian by ItalianPod101.com.
Ciao a tutti, sono Felice Angelini. Hi everyone, I'm Felice Angelini. In this lesson, you learn how to talk about your family from a parent's perspective.
This is Karen Lee, and she's studying with her Italian teacher, Rosa Romano. Rosa notices a picture on her computer and asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Listen to the conversation and focus on the response. Note, Rosa uses formal Italian. Ready?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Once more with the English translation.
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Is this your family?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Yes, this is my family. My husband, my son, my daughter, and me.
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Rosa asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Let's start with the word
Famiglia.
family.
Famiglia. Famiglia.
In Italian, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Famiglia.
Is feminine and singular, a fact that determines the form of other words in the sentence. Before this is
La sua.
meaning your in this formal context.
La sua.
Note,
Sua.
fundamentally means his, hers, or its, but it's also a formal way to say your when speaking to someone directly using formal Italian.
Sua. Sua.
Now, you might be more familiar with
Tua.
an informal word for your, as in
La tua famiglia.
your family, informal. As this is a conversation between two adults that don't know each other very well, the formal form
Sua.
is more appropriate.
Sua.
Is feminine and singular, to agree with.
Famiglia.
Before
Sua.
is the article.
La.
Think of it like the in English.
La. La. La.
Is also feminine and singular, to agree with.
Famiglia.
Note, in this sentence, the article
La.
does not have a corresponding English translation. In Italian, possessive adjectives like
Mia.
my,
Tua.
your,
Sua.
the formal word for your, and so forth, often pair with an article, like the
La.
in.
La sua.
Together, it's
La sua.
a formal phrase for your in this context.
La sua.
Altogether,
La sua famiglia.
translates as your family.
La sua famiglia.
Moving to the start of the sentence,
Questa.
this.
Questa. Questa.
Note
Questa.
is in the feminine singular form to agree with.
Famiglia.
Next is
È.
is, as in this is.
È. È. È.
Is from the verb,
Essere.
meaning to be.
Essere.
Altogether, it's.
Questa è la sua famiglia?
This literally means, this is your family? But it translates as, is this your family?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Note the rising intonation of the sentence to indicate that it's a question.
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later.
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Karen says, yes, this is my family, my husband, my son, my daughter, and me?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
This starts with,
Sì.
meaning yes.
Sì. Sì.
It answers Rosa's yes or no question. Is this your family?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
After this, Karen points to the picture and says,
Questa è la mia famiglia.
let's start with the word
Famiglia.
family.
Famiglia.
Do you remember the gender and number of
Famiglia.
feminine and singular? Before this, it's
La mia.
a phrase meaning my,
La mia. Mia.
my.
Mia. Mia.
In this sentence,
Mia.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Before
Mia.
is the article.
La.
Think of it like the in English.
La. La.
Is also feminine singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Again, in this case, the article
La.
does not have a corresponding English translation. Together, it's
La mia.
a phrase for my.
La mia.
Altogether,
La mia famiglia.
translates as my family.
La mia famiglia.
Moving to the start of the sentence,
Questa.
this.
Questa.
Note
Questa.
is in the feminine singular form to agree with.
Famiglia.
Next is
È.
is.
È.
Altogether, it's
Questa è la mia famiglia.
this is my family.
Questa è la mia famiglia.
After this is
Mio marito.
my husband.
Mio marito. Marito.
Husband.
Marito. Marito. Mio.
My
Mio. Mio.
is masculine and singular to agree with.
Marito. Mio marito.
Next,
Mio figlio.
my son.
Mio figlio. Figlio.
Son.
Figlio. Figlio. Mio.
My
Mio.
is masculine and singular to agree with.
Figlio. Mio figlio.
After this is
Mia figlia.
my daughter.
Mia figlia. Figlia.
Daughter.
Figlia. Figlia. Mia.
My
Mia. Mia.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Figlia. Mia figlia.
Next is
E.
and.
E. E.
And last is,
Io.
which translates as me in this context.
Io. Io.
Altogether,
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
this is my family, my husband, my son, my daughter, and me.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
The pattern is
Questa è la mia famiglia. Family member, family member, family member e io.
this is my family, family member, family member, family member, and me. To use this pattern, simply replace the family member placeholders with the appropriate word for my and members of your family. Remember that the word for my will be
Mio.
when your family member is male and
Mia.
when the family member is female. Imagine your family members are your wife, your son, your daughter, and you.
Moglie.
Is wife.
Moglie. Moglie.
This is a feminine noun. Therefore, my wife is
Mia moglie. Mia moglie.
say, this is my family, my wife, my son, my daughter, and me. Ready?
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
This is my family, my wife, my son, my daughter, and me.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
In Italian, possessive adjectives like mia, your, are preceded by definite articles like la in la mia famiglia, my family. However, there is an exception. When talking about singular family members, don't use the definite article. For example, mia moglie, my wife, and mio marito, my husband.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io. Questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia, mio marito, mio figlio e io. Questa è la mia famiglia, mio marito, mio figlio e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia, mio marito, i miei figli e io. Questa è la mia famiglia, mio marito, i miei figli e io.
Did you notice the phrase the last speaker uses when she points out her sons?
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Mio marito, i miei figli e io.
My husband, my sons, and me.
I miei figli.
Translates as my sons in this case.
I miei figli. I miei figli.
Remember, in Italian, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Figli.
Is masculine and plural, a fact that determines the form of other words in the sentence. Let's start with
Figli.
children.
Figli. Figli. Figli.
Is the plural form of
Figlio.
son.
Figlio.
Note,
Figli.
can refer to a group of sons or a mixed group including at least one son and one daughter. However, it cannot be used when it is a group of only daughters. In that case, you would use the word.
Figlie.
Before this is the phrase,
I miei.
meaning my.
I miei. Miei.
My.
Miei. Miei. Miei.
Is masculine and plural to agree with.
Figli.
Before
Miei.
is the article.
I.
Think of it like the in English.
I. I.
Note, the article
I.
does not have a corresponding English translation. If you're talking about daughters, you can say,
Le mie figlie.
my daughters.
Le mie figlie.
You should be aware of the plural form, but we'll use singular nouns in this lesson.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say yes? Sì. Sì. And how to say family? Famiglia. Famiglia. Do you remember how to say my family? Don't forget the article. La mia famiglia. La mia famiglia. And how to say is? È. È. And do you remember how Karen says, "This is my family"? Questa è la mia famiglia. Questa è la mia famiglia. Do you remember how to say husband? Marito. Marito. And how to say my husband? Mio marito. Mio marito. Do you remember how to say son? Figlio. Figlio. And how to say my son? Mio figlio. Mio figlio. Do you remember how to say daughter? Figlia. Figlia. And how to say my daughter? Mia figlia. Mia figlia. Do you remember how to say and? E. E. And how to say me? Io. Io. Do you remember how Karen says, yes, this is my family, my husband, my son, my daughter, and me?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io. Do you remember the formal way to say your family? Don't forget the article. La sua famiglia. La sua famiglia. And do you remember how Rosa asks, is this your family?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Questa è la sua famiglia? Do you remember how to say wife? Moglie. Moglie. And how to say my wife? Mia moglie. Mia moglie.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Mark's colleague, Matteo Marino. You have a wife and a daughter. Respond to Mark's question referring to the photo. Don't forget to include the word for yes at the beginning of your response. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Mark's boss, Patrizia Palmieri. You have a husband, daughter, and son. Ready?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mia figlia, mio figlio e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mia figlia, mio figlio e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mia figlia, mio figlio e io.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Mark's friend, Marina Monti. You have a husband and a son. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io.
Did you notice how Mark uses la tua famiglia when asking about his friends and colleagues' families? Questa è la tua famiglia? Is this your family? In less formal situations, like speaking with a friend or close colleague, the less formal tua is more appropriate. Tua, your, tua, tua. Note, tua is feminine and singular to agree with famiglia. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Well done! Now you know how to talk about your family in Italian. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.